Yeah, this one's quite interesting as well because
It's not Renaissance.
it's not Renaissance, but for me, I remember when I was doing art history A level, our first homework ever was to go to the National Gallery and pick a painting, and I picked this one.
Oh, did you?
So I really like this painting.
I love Paul Delaroche.
Yeah, he's fab.
Paul Delaroche. Oh, he's just. He's got such a Renaissance aesthetic, but it's not Renaissance, and I think it gives it a modernity in a way.
Yeah.
It looks more modern.
Yeah.
It looks like more hyper-realist than...
Well, I guess it's showing because she was actually killed in the 1500s. And this wasn't painted till the 19th century. So it's interesting because a lot of people say like it's not accurately portrayed, but it's still capturing a moment in history, I guess.
And I think it's one of the most... I think it's one of the paintings which mostly captures that moment. You know, other artists have tried to do it, but I think this just, you know, there's so much drama in it. You know, the dark kind of scary-ish background with, you know, she is literally about to be executed.
Yeah.
In this kind of like innocence, white.
Yeah.
In this gown, I think, it's just, I love it. I love the colours in it.
Yeah, it's an interesting contrast between, you can see sort of her innocence, I guess.
But it's like one of my friends, she does fine art, and she does specifically hyper-realist painting. And I said, there's no one out there now which does like an interpretation of Christ or anything biblical or anything historical like the French Revolution or anything like that. It's nothing, no one does it. It's always just of a portrait of someone like the Queen, which is nice because that's a sign of our times.
Yeah.
But how cool would it be if there was a modern painter painting a bit like that?
Yeah.
But painting those kind of scenes but in a really modern way.
Yeah.
And there's no one like that, and I think that's why I love it as well.
Well, I think it's interesting with the clothes as well because the ladies' maids in the background, they're wearing sort of, I guess, historical dress for someone to see in the 19th century. But what Lady Jane's wearing is quite Victorian, I guess, because it's sort of like a corseted waist with like a loose shirt. Compared to the ladies in the background, it's very different.
That's more in a way like Renaissance. It looks medieval.
Yeah, it looks even the I think they're called gable caps. Those ones in the background.
And I love his red tie.
Yeah, it's sort of like your eye gets taken around it really quickly. So you're looking at you see the orange in the background, then you see the white, and then the black, and then the red. Yeah, it's huge.
Because it's like in a room on its own, isn't it? Downstairs. And
it's got its own wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the most exciting paintings because I look at some paintings and I'm like, yeah, bored now. But that one, I just want to like.
There's so many details to pick up as well. Yeah, you are.
It feels like you're actually watching her getting executed. Like it really draws you into the scene.
Well, it sort of is like a moment. Like it's definitely not a still life. It's almost like someone's just press pause on a scene because like her hands are still stretched out and they're sort of about to go on this. Feel this block that her head's going to get knocked off on, and then there's the straw at the front which they use to soak up blood, and it's quite gruesome as well, but it's very beautiful at the same time.
That's what I like in my work. It's kind of like dark gothic. It's so beautiful.
When did you first see this painting? Was it quite a while ago?
I saw it when I was like when my mum and dad used to bring me up to London. I've always seen it because my dad loves Paul Delaroche.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watch it, but it was funny. In the summer there was Fake or Fortune. Have you ever watched it?
Is that a game show?
No, it's Fiona Bruce and a Philip Mould. They do they get called around the country to find these old paintings. Yeah. And there was a Paul Delaroche one, and this one actually came up then as well. Yeah. And it's when they were doing it on Paul Delaroche. My God, like he is one of my favourite.
No,
artists.
he's fabulous.
Because he paints a lot of regal. I think he done women who were saints, and he also done some of nuns and queens, and he done one. What's her name? Marie Amelie. Marie Amelie. That's it. And that's it. Not Mary Antoinette. Yeah. Marie Amelie. She had a painted by Paul Delaroche of a saint, and
Oh, is this the one from TV?
Yeah, this is
wow.
it. And it's the most beautiful painting.
That's gorgeous.
How fabulous is that?
So that's his painting here.
Yeah.
Which saint is it of? Is it of her?
God knows. And basically...
Saint Amelia. Okay.
And it was a glass window in her chapel back in their old...
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's fabulous. And it's gorgeous because they saw the original drawing, then they saw the glass window, and then they actually saw the painting, and because they had to flee they would bring it, and that is one of the only things that she brought.
This one's quite interesting because it's very like pre-Raphaelite looking as well.
It looks very pre-Raphaelite.
Yeah, which is interesting.
I love the Raphaelites as well.
Because that's it's just the way their faces are modelled. It's very pre-Raphaelite, but it's also quite Renaissance-y as well. Yeah. It's really interesting how he's done that. And then even the figure at the front is really Gothic as well. Yeah. Because in the Gothic paintings, they had that sort of S-shaped figure, and they were sort of like really like off-scale. Like the main character was always huge in comparison to other people to draw attention to them. So that is really interesting how there's all these different visual styles there. It's
like she looks really scary in the back, but then you've got this amazing gold dress and these kind of romantic flowers. But it does still look quite scary. Yeah. What I like Renaissance paintings is they have that kind of scariness to them because they are so old. And this, it's like scary, but it's so not scary at the same time. It's not scary, but there is that kind of edge of darkness.
Especially there's like the shadowy figure in the back.
Yeah.
And also when you know the story of someone having to flee the country and taking that with them, that adds an edge as well. Yeah. Also it shows
you should watch the episodes.
I will.
It's one of my favourite episodes I've ever done.
But you can see how
there is resemblance.
There is resemblance, definitely. But this is way more like...
Oh, that's more dramatic.
Yeah, and it's far more characteristic of paintings done in the 19th century, like when there was the whole Gothic revival and neoclassicism as well. It's sort of like mixing of the two, which is interesting. I guess like the fascination with history as well. Have you referenced this in designing as well, or is this?
I referenced it in my Jersey project last year.
Yeah. How did you interpretate it?
I literally just cut it down to what they were wearing. I love what they were wearing, but also it's kind of because like we were saying, she's kind of in like this Victorian-y like dress.
Well, it's like an undergarment, definitely.
And it's not even from that era.
No.
But how it's so, angelic, but in this really dark situation, setting, etc. So it was more that kind of innocence versus gruesome.
Like even the ladies made at the back, that really looks like the really famous painting of Jane Seymour. Yeah. That's what I thought when I first saw that.
But why I love it is the scale. When you see it,
it's huge.
It's huge. And you really get... I don't think it's there.
Yeah, look how similar that is to the woman in the background. She's wearing like exactly the same outfit, pretty much.
Look at the jewels.
It's exactly the same. So you can see how he's referencing a lot of historical.
And that's what I like. It's like because as a designer as well, I don't just, even though I love Renaissance, I don't just look at Renaissance. I look at Raphaelite. I look at medieval.
Well, they all influence each other. It's all a big chain, definitely. What's your favourite outfit in this painting?
This one.
Seeing as the clothes.
Probably
that one, the Jane Seymour look. Yeah.
Like these rich jewels hanging off her neck and such a scary.
Yeah.
I love his red tie.
Yeah, they're definitely focal point.
There should be more of